The brass lock clicked shut. On the other side, 3 teenagers pressed their ears to the door, and their laughter was the last human sound Olivia heard for 71 hours.
Let me out. This isn't funny.
Let's see how long it takes before she starts crying.
Inside the cedar-lined attic, shadows swallowed the corners. The small round window showed the sky darken.
They'll come back soon. Any minute now.
Hours stretched into days. No footsteps, no voices. Only the creak of the house settling and the frantic beat of her own heart.
I'm going to die up here. They've forgotten.
Oh, good heavens, Olivia. We thought you'd left. It was just a silly prank.
And then her aunt did the unthinkable. She laughed. A light, dismissive sound that told Olivia nothing would ever change. The attic fell silent, its cedar scent now forever tied to betrayal. The girl who descended those stairs carried its darkness inside her.
It was just a prank that got out of hand. You know how teenagers are, Linda? They forget things.
Your cousins are good kids, Olivia. They made a mistake. In this family, we forgive and forget. Forgive and forget, as if my screams were nothing.
Olivia swallowed her scream and turned away. In the hallway, she looked up and saw a water stain spreading across the ceiling. The stain was brown and wide, the plaster soft. A leak that had been ignored for years, just like her.
Nobody fixes the roof. Nobody came for me. This whole house is rotten.
That night, alone in the guest room, the cedar smell still clinging to her hair, she opened her diary. She wrote, "One day, I'll make them all understand what they did." She cataloged the roof leak, the flaking paint, the broken attic lock, a secret inventory of weakness she might one day use. 13-year-old Olivia shut the diary and stared at the dark window. Inside her, a cold seed of patience took root. 22 years passed. The colonial house stood unchanged, but the girl who cataloged its weaknesses was now a woman who could buy it. Olivia, now 35, a real estate attorney, barely glanced at the routine title alert until she saw the street name. Pre-foreclosure notice, 224 Cedarwood Lane. Owner, Dorothy Calvert.
That address, the attic, the lock, it's all still there.
A flood of memory hit her. Cedar, darkness, laughter. Then, with cold precision, she opened the county property records. The mortgage was delinquent, the bank ready to auction. No payment from Dorothy in 6 months.
So the cousins abandoned their own mother. Nothing's changed.
Olivia tapped a finger on the desk. The old diary entry surfaced in her mind. One day, I'll make them understand.
Maybe that day is closer than I thought.
She didn't know how yet, but she was already pulling up her legal network, her auction calendar, the toxic knowledge of that roof. Her first call was to a home inspector who owed her a favor. She needed a silent, unofficial look at 224 Cedarwood Lane.
I need you to check a roof for me. No public report, just your eyes. Focus on the attic trusses.
The inspector's email arrived. Chronic water damage, compromised trusses, full replacement needed. Estimated cost over $40,000, undisclosed.
Just as I remembered, this house is bleeding money, and no one else knows it.
Next, she called Samantha, her paralegal, the only person who knew the whole story.
Samantha, I'm buying a house. The one from my childhood. I need to set up an LLC anonymous.
The weight of the roof inspection hung in the air between them.
The attic house? Are you sure this is a good idea, Olivia?
Within 48 hours, the articles of organization were drafted. Olivia signed with a pen that felt heavier than any closing document.
Now, let's see who shows up at the auction.
Olivia slipped into the courthouse auction room, unrecognized and unremarkable among the investors flipping property sheets. The auctioneer rattled off the legal description of 224 Cedarwood Lane. Olivia's hand tightened on the bidder card in her lap.
Opening bid at $200,000. Do I hear 210?
A developer in a gray suit lifted his paddle. Olivia waited. 2 more investors joined, driving the price to $280.
They have no idea about the roof. The real cost waiting to bury them.
Olivia raised her card for the first time, calm and deliberate.
$300,000.
$300,000 from the lady in navy. Do I hear 310?
The house that locked me in is mine now.
That evening, Olivia stood on the colonial porch, the brass key cold in her hand. The sold sign a quiet victory in the yard. The colonial house inhaled her like a long-held breath. Dust sheets covered the furniture like ghosts of the family that forgot her. She walked past the staircase where family photos still hung. Pictures from 1998, her cousins' smirking faces frozen in time. Her feet stopped on their own. The attic door was just ahead, the brass lock unchanged.
22 years, and the lock still held the echo of their laughter.
She forced the door open, climbed the narrow stairs, and sat on the dusty floor where she once waited to die. She touched the scars on the floorboards, remembering her 13-year-old fingernails.
But this time, she wasn't trapped. She was the one with the key. Eviction would only make me like them cruel, but a written truth, signed and permanent, that they could never escape. A notarized acknowledgement on the wall for everyone to see.
When she descended, her hands were steady. The plan had shifted from revenge to reckoning. Olivia dialed the number with a cold finger. The voice that answered was older, frailer than she remembered.
Olivia? I never thought you'd call, after all these years.
When Dorothy arrived at the house, she found Olivia waiting in the living room. The dust sheets gone, a lease document already on the coffee table.
Aunt Dorothy, I bought your house at auction. I'm the new legal owner.
Then I'm homeless. Oh God, my boys were right. You came to throw me out.
No, read the paper. A lifetime lease at $1 a month. You can stay here forever, but there is a condition. You must sign a separate statement, notarized, detailing exactly what happened in the attic in 1998.
You want me to confess to having failed you?
I want the truth in writing, Aunt Dorothy, for the family record. That's the price.
I'll do it. I'll sign.
The notary's office smelled of old paper and correction fluid. Dorothy sat rigid, the document laid before her like a confessional, her knuckles white around the pen.
Do you understand and voluntarily sign this statement of facts?
I do.
Her pen scratched out Dorothy Calvert in a shaky script that seemed to take an eternity. The notary pressed her seal down. The metal crimped the paper with a sound like a lock clicking shut.
I should feel victory. Instead, I feel the same hollow ache the attic gave me. Aunt Dorothy was never a monster. She was a woman who chose silence over truth.
Without a word, Olivia took the document and drove to a frame shop on Oak Street. She chose mahogany, dark as the attic beams. The framer nodded, sensing something sacred in the request. That evening, the framed acknowledgement rested on the back seat of her car, a quiet weapon still in its sheath, waiting for a room that had not yet been arranged. The next morning, Olivia carried the covered frame into the foyer, past the entry table where the heavy family Bible had rested for decades. With careful hands, she lifted the Bible from its place and set it aside. The table felt incomplete, as if the house held its breath. In the empty space, she hung the hidden acknowledgement. A dark cloth veiled its words, but the frame was majestic.
So now the house has a new centerpiece, and no one knows it yet.
That afternoon, Olivia sat at her laptop and composed a brief invitation. The email read, "Dear Brandon, Tyler, Cynthia. Christmas dinner at 224 Cedarwood Lane this year. Please come. It's important." She sent it without hesitation. The digital clock on her toolbar read 3:14 p.m., and she felt the weight of 22 years settle into that instant. That night, Olivia dreamed she was 13 again. The attic lock clicked, and the small window showed only black. She woke gasping, the cedar scent still in her nostrils, the echo of laughter fading with her heartbeat.
I am not that girl anymore. In 3 days, everyone else will know it too.
At a coffee shop 2 towns over, the 3 cousins huddled over a printed email, their lattes going cold as suspicion curdled the air.
She wants us at the house for Christmas? That place nearly got foreclosed. And where'd she get money for a dinner?
Who cares? It was our house. If she's trying to make nice, maybe we can get something out of it.
I don't trust it. Little Olivia always held grudges. Remember how she'd stare at us after the attic thing?
They remembered. But in the end, curiosity and the faint hope of leverage won out. They'd go. That evening, Dorothy sat alone in her bedroom, the landline receiver cold in her hand, the weight of the notarized truth pressing on her chest.
Brandon, there's something I need to tell you about the house, about what Olivia really wants.
Mom? What is it? You sound scared? Did she threaten you?
No, I'm tired, Brandon. Forget I called.
Dorothy hung up before her guilt could betray the plan. But the tremor in her voice had already planted a seed of dread. The phone in Olivia's house rang at dusk. Linda's voice was strained, already raw from Brandon's call.
Olivia, Brandon told me about the invitation. He says you bought the house. Please, don't do whatever you're planning.
Good. Then he also knows the house was nearly foreclosed. I saved it.
It's not about the house. You're dredging up something that happened decades ago. Let it go, for the family's sake.
For the family? Like when they locked me in the attic for 3 days, and you told me to forgive and forget?
I was wrong. I knew it then, and I know it now. But this revenge won't fix anything. It'll just tear us apart again.
It'll fix the record. It'll put the truth in writing on a wall where no one can pretend it never happened.
Linda's breath caught, a sob she couldn't hold back. She realized her daughter wasn't asking for permission.
Olivia, please, I'm begging you. Don't make your cousins suffer for what I failed to stop.
I love you, Mom, but you taught me to forgive. I've chosen to remember and to make them face what they did.
2 days before Christmas, the doorbell chimed through the quiet house. Olivia opened the heavy wood door to find the three of them under the porch light, unannounced.
We thought we'd see the old place early. Make sure you're not wrecking it.
Come in. I have nothing to hide.
They stepped inside, eyes scanning like they still owned the place. Tyler froze, his gaze fixed on the empty table where the family Bible had always been.
Where's the family Bible? That was Grandma's. What did you do with it?
I replaced it with something more appropriate.
What's under the cloth, Olivia? Some kind of sick joke?
A Christmas surprise. You'll see it at dinner.
Brandon lunged toward the frame, but Olivia stepped smoothly into his path, her voice cold as the snow outside.
You've waited 22 years. Surely you can wait 2 more days.
Christmas Eve morning, a car crunched into the driveway. Linda stepped out, face drawn, having driven hours to beg in person.
Olivia, please. Your cousins are terrified. Whatever you're planning under that cloth, it's going to destroy this family.
The family was destroyed the night Brandon locked that door, and you told me it was just a prank.
Then punish me, not them. I was the mother who chose peace over protecting my own daughter.
You were a coward, Mom. So was Aunt Dorothy. But the cousins? They never even pretended to be sorry.
I know. I've lived with that shame every day. But letting you bear it alone was the worst betrayal of all.
I'm not asking for your blessing, Mom. I'm asking you to stand beside me tomorrow and let the truth do what it should have done 22 years ago.
Is that it? The document under that cloth?
Aunt Dorothy signed it herself. It's not revenge, it's a record, and tomorrow it goes on this wall forever.
Linda closed her eyes, a single tear tracing the lines of her face. When she opened them, something between them had shifted, not healed, but finally acknowledged. Christmas Eve draped the house in false calm. Olivia and Dorothy hung wreaths in silence, the covered frame waiting like an unspoken elegy.
I keep thinking of that night, the way you looked when I opened the door. I should have held you. I laughed instead.
We can't change that now, but tomorrow, the truth will be hung on this wall, and you'll never have to pretend it was a joke again.
What if I can't face them? What if I tear it down before they see?
Olivia reached for her old diary, now brittle with age. She read aloud, "One day, I'll make them all understand what they did."
I wrote that when I was 13. That girl has waited 22 years for this. We're not stopping now.
Dorothy's hand closed around Olivia's. For the first time in 2 decades, they met each other's gaze without flinching.
Tomorrow they'll see it, and I'll finally be free of that attic.
I'll stand beside you. My boys need to face this. We all do.
They extinguished the lights, leaving only the tree and the veiled frame to hold the silence. Tomorrow, the cloth would fall. The dining room glowed with candlelight and forced smiles. The cousins sat stiffly, their plates barely touched, eyes darting to the foyer.
So, Olivia, nice spread. You're really playing Lady of the Manor now?
This house deserved a proper Christmas. It's been waiting a long time to be treated right.
Linda tried to steer the conversation, but the air was thick with unasked questions. Dorothy's fork trembled. Olivia stood, tapping her glass. The crystal rang out, silencing the room.
Before we finish, I have a gift for all of you. It's been 22 years in the making.
She set down her napkin and walked to the foyer. The others followed, footsteps echoing.
What game is this, Olivia?
No game, just the truth. Finally where it belongs.
Her hand reached for the dark cloth. The room held its breath. The dark cloth came away with a single pull, sliding down the frame like a shroud. The mahogany frame held a single sheet of notarized paper. The embossed seal glinted under the foyer light.
What is this? You framed our names like we're criminals?
Take it down. Now.
On July 12, 1998, Brandon, Tyler, and Cynthia Calvert locked their cousin Olivia in the attic and abandoned her for 71 hours.
I signed it. Every word is the truth.
So what? We were kids. This is harassment.
Brandon lunged at the frame, his fingers gripping the wood. But it held fast, screwed into the wall studs.
It's a notarized acknowledgement, not a conviction. But your panic tells me you already know that.
The cousins stood frozen, their faces stripped of bravado. The truth they'd buried for decades was now a permanent fixture, 10 feet from where they'd once locked a girl in the dark.
You'll hear from my lawyer. Defamation, emotional distress. You've gone too far.
Defamation requires false statements. Every word on that wall is notarized truth.
You're sick, turning the family into a freak show. What's next? A billboard?
She's always been psycho. This just proves it.
Olivia didn't flinch. She stood beside the frame, her voice still even, as if reciting case law.
Stop. All of you. Olivia, I want a copy. I want to hang it in my own home so I never forget what I allowed to happen.
A stunned silence swallowed the foyer. The cousins stared at Linda as if she'd spoken in a foreign tongue. Olivia reached for a second identical frame leaning against the entry table. She'd prepared for a moment she hoped was coming.
Here, Mom. The truth belongs to both of us now.
Brandon yanked the front door open, snow swirling into the foyer. Tyler and Cynthia pushed past him without a backward glance. The door slammed with a force that rattled the mahogany frame. Their taillights vanished into the white blur of Christmas night.
My boys, they'll never forgive me.
She slumped into the nearest chair, her body shaking with decades of suppressed guilt.
You did the right thing, Dorothy. We all did now.
Linda turned to Olivia. No words were needed as they fell into each other's arms. The house, for the first time in 22 years, felt lighter, wrecked, but honest.
Mom, keep that frame somewhere. You'll see it every day. Not as punishment, as proof.
She led Dorothy to the couch, and the three women sat together, the framed truth a silent witness to their fragile peace. Olivia let her eyes close, the weight of the brass key in her pocket finally replaced by the quiet certainty of a lock picked and a door left open. The hours bled into night. Linda had retired upstairs, leaving Olivia and Dorothy alone in the dim glow of the Christmas tree.
Thank you for not throwing me out, for making me write it down. I've been suffocating under that lie for 22 years.
I didn't do it for revenge. I just wanted the truth to exist somewhere permanent. Something they couldn't pretend never happened.
Can you ever forgive me for laughing when I should have held you?
I don't know. But that document on the wall, it's a start. It's more than I ever had before.
Their hands found each other in the dark. The touch was tentative at first, then tight. Two women finally meeting in the wreckage. In the foyer, the framed acknowledgement caught the last light of the tree. The words were silent, but they spoke louder than any lock.
The attic doesn't own me anymore. The truth does.
They sat in silence, the weight of 1998 finally lighter than the hope of Christmas morning. Dorothy squeezed Olivia's hand, the gesture saying everything words had failed to for 22 years. Olivia squeezed back. Long after Dorothy fell asleep, Olivia rose from the couch and walked barefoot to the foyer, the silence of the house a balm. The mahogany frame gleamed under a single sconce. She read the words again, not as a victor, but as a witness to her own history.
I was that girl locked, forgotten, counting the hours. But she isn't trapped anymore.
A single tear traced her cheek. Not grief, release. The kind that comes when a long-held breath finally escapes.
The attic door isn't locked anymore, and neither am I.
She reached out and touched the frame's edge, the wood cool and solid under her fingers, the truth made palpable.
This house isn't just mine. It's a testament now, and that's worth more than any revenge.
She thought of the water stain on the ceiling, the broken lock, the laughter, all reduced to ink and a notary seal. The brass key in her pocket pressed against her hip, a reminder that she had opened every door on her own terms. With a final glance, she silenced the attic's echo. The girl who once wrote a vow in a diary had finally kept her promise. A few days after Christmas, Olivia parked in Linda's driveway. She knocked twice, then let herself in. In the hallway, the mahogany frame hung opposite the coat rack, its words catching the morning light like a new family relic.
I needed to see it every morning. A reminder that silence has consequences.
It couldn't have been easy to hang that here, Mom.
Hardest thing I've ever done. But I want to be a woman who faces the truth, not buries it.
They moved to the kitchen, where a teapot steamed between them. The ritual of pouring felt like a bridge.
We'll never be a perfect family, but maybe we can be an honest one.
I'm proud of you, Olivia. I should have told you that years ago.
I just needed you to see the girl in the attic. You finally did.
They sipped their tea in a silence that felt like the beginning of something long overdue. The drive from Linda's house passed in a quiet blur. By the time Olivia turned onto Cedarwood Lane, a soft snow had softened the world. She parked and walked to the porch, snowflakes catching in her auburn hair, the wreath on the door dusted white.
This house is mine now, not as a trophy, but as a testament.
She rested her hand on the brass doorknob and glanced back at the quiet street. Through the window, the mahogany frame was just visible, a silent anchor. The house glowed against the darkening sky, every lit window a welcome. She turned the key and opened the door.
The attic is still up there, but its lock is just a lock now.
She closed the door on the cold, leaving only her footprints in the fresh snow outside. She walked to the foyer and stood before the framed acknowledgement, the words lit by a single sconce, a quiet reliquary of pain turned into strength.
I closed the attic door with the truth. That's better than any lock.
She reached up and touched the frame's edge with the hand that held the brass key. Then she smiled, the faint, closed-mouth smirk of 22 years of patience, finally at rest.